Hey guys, Casual Crono here. It's that time again. It is time for me to go over my Superboss teams. I'm excited to share with you 3 brand new Superboss teams. I finally have an Earth, a Water, and a Null/Magic Superboss team. Though I am very sad to say my very first Superboss team, my Alma Superboss team, which was Alma, Jet Xion, Iffy, and Radius AS, they don't exist anymore. It's a great Superboss team. I loved the flexibility that, Brain Record and Alter Xion could bring, and I liked the barrier piercing that Alma did, except that I only have room for 10 teams. And once I started making my other teams, I have a Red Keys dungeon, which is just Sesta and 3 wind characters destroying dungeons, and then people leveling up or getting shadow points. I have a Green Key dungeon, which is, again, Sesta and wind people just destroying things, and people either gaining points or leveling up. She's gotten to 96 already, just by being in the back row. So there's 2 slots. My Earth team, Water, Wind, Fire, Heart, Captain Planet. My Thunder team, Crystal team, and then my Magic team. And then the last slot is my Character Development Series slot. So I kind of ran out of slots. So I decided to retire my Alma normal style Superboss team. She's been with me for over a year, served me well, and I've used that team so much I could recreate in a second if I wanted to. But instead, I now have an Earth team to show off, a Water team to show off. I'm going to go over Wind, Fire, Thunder, Crystal, and Crystal really quickly. Unlike other videos, I'm not going to show them all in fights. Really, the changes I've made since June are minor. Pretty much Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Crystal. The one change I made for all those teams, and I forget who actually has it at the moment. Is it you? Nope. The only new Grasta I've gotten are these Power of Awakening Grastas that you can buy in Petalfall in the new content. And when you are in an Awakened zone, for all of that type, so in this case, all sword users will get damage up by 25%. So in most of those teams' cases, I'm now including this Grasta in the lineup because 25% is a very good amount. And as a result, for most of them, I used to have, go back to this, I used to have like Enhance if max HP and then Element, and that was 10%. So I'm giving up 10% damage when I'm at max health, but I'm gaining 25% damage as long as I'm in an Awakened zone. And for a lot of these teams, I'm always in an Awakened zone. Wind, I'm pretty much guaranteed to be in an Awakened zone. Melody puts one there, and Sesta needs it to function. Fire, Sukiya has an Awakened zone for like 5 turns. Thunder, Gunts can put me in an Awakened zone as often as I want. And Crystal, Melissa can reawaken the zone as often as I want. So for all of those teams, I felt that having the Awakened based on your weapon type, Awakened Katana, Awakened Sword, Grasta were more important. So I'm going to go over Wind, Fire, Thunder, and Crystal at the end of the video, but I'm not going to show you any fights with them because really not much has changed. They're still all extremely powerful. So the ones I'm excited about, I'm going to show off my Earth team, my Water team, and then my Xianghua Magic Null team. So, let's get started. My first new Superboss team is an Earth team. I have not had an Earth or a Water team in quite a while, and I finally went and got Mayunfa Alter, Shannon Alter, and I had the other characters, so I was able to assemble them into something I'm still playing around with. I might tweak it up at some point, but in general, Mayunfa, she does not have any Earth attacks, which I'm not happy about. She really could use that 4th slot, because I like I'll Do My Best, which is her prayer, and it reduces damage that's 1500 or below to 0, and it improves damage by 50%, improves party power, intellect speed, gains a shield based on her max health, so you want to max out her health as much as possible. It doesn't say there's a cap, so I think right now she has close to 6,000, so she's given a shield of about, what, 1,900 something. Going back to skills, so she has her prayer, she has please, which improves weapon type damage for all party members by 50%, improves damage against weak points, stacks spores for spoiling on the ally to the user's right, which improves their damage. And physical and magical damage increases based on max HP. For allies with spoiling, weapon type damage buff effect increases by 2. So in other words, whoever's to her right, which is Alter Shannon, is going to get a damage buff. And then I have Charity Blend, which preemptively deploys toward Earth Stance, since I don't have it naturally when I first start the fight. I need someone to cast it, and it's either going to be her or Alter Shannon. Since my Unfa is prayer and support and not doing damage, I want to try and make her survive. To improve her shield, I have all HP Grasta and HP Ore for 1800 there. I also have Power of Rebirth to give her a little bit of mana regen. As far as gear, she has the Spinal Staff equipped, which I believe is an OOPA art staff. I'm not quite sure where I got it from, to be honest, but it gives her some mana regen and reduces her MP consumption. Smoke Drift Ring, it's not quite a +10, it's a +9, but it helps against poison, stun, sleep, anything that would break the prayer, and gives her a little bit of physical resistance. And at the moment I have a Steely Resolve badge, which gives her some health and hold ground. I debated between this one versus one of my standard HP 2000 and then like MP halved or speed halved. She doesn't really need speed because in an AF burst she's not doing damage, so it doesn't really matter how often she goes. So I could improve her health even more with that. But I kind of liked the hold ground, so she could have more health, which means the barrier could be stronger, but as I said, I'm still tweaking this team. We'll see how it goes. I decided that Shannon is going to be my main DPSer. She has the Elpis Sword, the Dryad Spangle, and a 40 power badge. And then she has your standard Power of Pains. She has power, well, I guess actually you can see it all here. She has Pain with Bullseye, Pain with Rose with Thorns, and then the Earth Power of Pain, which improves pain and Earth type attacks. As far as skills, she has Epée de Sanction, which is an extra large attack, ignores defenses, inflicts elemental break. And when she's in another zone, strength is improved to guaranteed critical. So you don't technically need a weapon that gives 100% critical rating, but this is going to be her spammable attack in an AF gauge. We have two others. I took Spanish, not French, so I'm going to butcher the pronunciation. Coupure d'Amour, I guess. It reduces slash resistance and earth resistance, and the debuff is doubled as long as she's in another zone, so about 50% reduction of both. And Declenchement de Purge. It improves her power, speed, sword damage, and the buff effect and turn count is increased a lot when she is in an attack type zone. And her presence alone, as long as you do enough earth attacks during an earth zone, she will continuously redeploy an awakened earth zone over and over and over again. So she is kind of like my main zone setter. I have my Unfa with her Charity Blend just in case the awakened zone runs out and I didn't get enough earth attacks in, or in case a boss breaks the zone entirely. I have Claude primarily for support. He has the skills Idaphos Monida? Sure, we'll go with that. It attacks 3 times, restores all party members' hit points, and restores all statuses. And as long as he's in a zone, he can awaken it. He can also improve the party's power, intellect, and speed, and its stacks. So by spamming this over and over again, which is why I have it in the first slot for the AF burst, he can continuously improve the party's power, therefore Shannon's power. He also is restoring health with this attack, and his end of turn, as long as he's in a zone, restores health and mana. So in a way, he's my healer of the team. Madis Athena reduces the enemy's power, intellect, speed for 5 turns, improves physical resistance for 5 turns, and then Madis Ares, sword, katana, axe allies improvement, critical strength improvement. So those are the 3 skills I've chosen for him. As far as gear, since he is technically more support, I want him to survive. So he has 3 Grasta that improve health. I gave him the sound body, so he's giving 300 health and 50 mana to all sword users, which means he's buffing Shannon a little bit. He has a 1250 HP badge. Miyake's sword, because Miyake's sword restores health and gives him some resistance, and he attacks 3 times, so he gets 3 little restorations there. And I gave him an anti-crystal bracelet because it improves his status resistances. I know there's other gear that does the same, but I want him to be not stunned or anything like that so he can restore the health. I want a way to try and prevent those things from happening. And for my tank, and I really debated between the 4th character, because I have Kuchinawa and I have a few others, and it's important that I do earth attacks, but I don't really like, he only has 2 earth attacks if he's not Stellar Awakened, and I don't like either one, so I'm kind of considering Stellar Awakening him too. But anyway, the main ones, he has Overbear, which will reduce enemy's power, intellect, inflicts pain, inflicts rage, gives him cover so he can take all the attacks for the team for 1 turn. And Guardian Lance. It improves his max health. It stacks 3 times to 150%. And when he's hit by a physical attack, he restores the party's mana. I do not have 2 Miglance Palace allies in the front line. I really tried to find someone I could swap out for Miglance Palace ally. Didn't really find anyone I liked. As far as gear, since his hit points will increase by 150%, I wanted to have a nice cushion of health points. So his health, he has all of these. Power of Rebirth also gives him a regen. And then he has his True Manifest weapon. He has Oriental Bracelet, which improves resistances. And he has a 2000 HP badge. Since Shannon is a KMS user, has amnesia, I wanted to find back row characters that support that. Deirdre is a sword user and happens to have amnesia. So she also, or she has the Grasta, Almighty Power Amnesia. She has Power of Quake Sword, improving sword users' damage by 30%. And Power of Awakening Sword, since it's pretty easy for this particular team to stay in an awakened zone over and over again. This one improves damage, I believe, 25%. So those are the 3 I've chosen for Deirdre. For Shannon, since she's a KMS user as well, gave her that. She has the Enhance if max HP and Enhance at low HP. So if Alter Shannon is damaged below 80%, this kicks in. If she's at full health, which I expect with Claude's attack and everything, she probably will be a lot, then the Enhance if max HP sword is kicking in. In order to get as many earth hits in as possible, I have Morty as my sidekick. And he does 3 earth blunt attacks and improves the party's power and speed, which stacks 5 times. So his aura is very particular, so I'm not sure how often that one's going to kick in, but basically this is for a guaranteed 3 earth attacks. And then Tetra is the sub-sidekick, so that way when they drop below 8% health, they get a resistance boost. I could throw in Gunts as well to blow the AF gauge, but I'm trying out Tetra for now. I'm not sure about this team's survivability. Why all the earth attacks? So when Alter Shannon is in an earth zone, she stacks this thing called Eclatant, whatever. She stacks things. And once she is no longer in an earth zone, if she has 15 of them, she deploys an awakened earth zone again. And so once the awakened earth zone is up, then earth attacks will continue to stack this Eclatant, whatever. The more she's in an earth zone, as long as all the characters are doing earth attacks 15 times before the awakened zone runs out, she can on the next turn redeploy an awakened zone. So the catches are, if you don't do 15 attacks while the earth zone is up, you have to redeploy an earth zone to continue getting those stacks. And that's why Myunfa has Charity Blend. So let's see this in action on the test dummy. So we need Earth Zone. So we're going to do that first. We have a choice. If it's I could reduce / an earth resistance. I could improve user's power, etc. Since the attack type zone will be deployed by Charity Blend, this should awaken the zone and improve turn count. So this could last for 9 turns. It says times 3. I guess it'd be 9 turns. That seems like a lot. We're gonna go with that. In his case, I have a choice. Usually against a boss, I would try to debuff them right away, and this also improves party resistance. So I'm going to debuff the enemy, and for him, we are going to... I could either inflict rage, or I could improve his health. Well, actually, both of them inflict rage. This one also inflicts pain. I'm not going to be attacking on turn 2, so let's go ahead and improve his health a little bit. Alright, we have our Awakened Earth Zone. Alright, I have 2 turns left of the Awakened Earth Zone. And if I check her status, I can see I've gotten 3 stacks towards the 15 I need. So here on turn 2, I can start praying. I can go ahead and reduce / resistance. Now that I've debuffed the enemy, I can buff the team. And we inflicted rage and improved his health a little bit already, so now I could put on pain and give cover if I need to. There's 1 earth attack. There's 3 more earth attacks. This follow-up attack is not an earth attack, from what I can tell. Claude is restoring health and mana, so he is keeping my mana up. So I'm not having mana issues. I'm not too happy with the lack of many attacks this team has. So, as I said, I'm still playing with this. Alright, turn 3 though. We're going to do Please. That will preemptively improve damage and stack spoiling. She is going to do her Epée de Sanction. He is going to attack. And while the zone is employed, that, improves the party's power and so forth. At this point, he's done both of these attacks. We have pain on the enemy, so I could start stacking his health even more. Or if I wanted to increase the number of earth attacks, I could try an earth attack here.
Got ya.
And as you can see, even without a full array of buffs, she just hit the damage cap on the test dummy. So I like the damage that she produces. I'm a little worried over a long drawn out fight that she won't be able to reawaken the Earth Zone as quickly as I want. So this is the Earth team I've kind of come up with. It has defenses, it has damage, it has praying, and it has healing. So that's, and mana regen. So that's kind of where I'm at with this team. Let's go take it for a spin.
Seriously, huh?
So to test it out, we're going to start off with a Tier 9 Superboss Imbrium Basin that's naturally weak to Earth. Starts off in a water zone. So I think we're going to blow the AF gauge. We're going to start Torn Earth, improve power, initiate Awaken Zone, improve damage, and then inflict pain. So 3, 3, 3, 2. And then we'll do 2, 2, 2, and then 1. So 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1. 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, and then spam all ones. Alright, I already saw a damage cap in there. We hit the HP stopper. It's going to attempt to redeploy the zone, but it can't since we have an Awakened Zone. We have Prayer going, we have Awakened Zone going. We got 6 stacks in that first turn. I'm pretty sure she's going to kill it on this next turn here. But if she didn't, we should get 3 more from Morty. So that would be 9. And then 3 more after that, which would be 12. So I still don't like the stacking. It looks like I'd have to redeploy Earth Zone and get 3 more hits in before she would activate. So anyway, stuff to worry about later. We're going to attack. He's going to attack. She's going to attack. And I wonder if I awaken the zone with Tampered Roast, it would reset the length of the zone. I'll have to test that out sometime. Alright, and then do we have Please going? Yes, we have 3 stacks of it.
Got ya.
Yep, damage cap. So I really like her damage. I'm a little concerned about how much I can keep the zone going without being a little too clunky. But that is my current iteration of an Earth team. So hopefully I'll be able to test it out as I continue to develop it, and I might even awaken Bertrand for the tanking if I feel it's necessary. My other new team is my water team. The main damage dealer is Felmina ES, and I've chosen Ilulu Altar, Hismina Altar, and Dunrith Altar to support her. I have Annabelle and Zarivo in reserves, and for sidekicks I have Limmel and Tetra. Limmel is equipped with the healing jewels, so he's kind of like a little mini Tetra in the front row, and I picked Tetra so that way I could get some maximum health, mana, and some resistances going whenever they take damage. So let's look at the water team. Felmina, being the main damage dealer, has the Elpis Axe, Dryad's Necklace, and Dragon God badge to reduce the mana she's consuming. I could give her a plus 40 power badge as well. She has Pains, she has Agony with Bullseye, Pain with Rose with Thorns, and Pain with Insult to Injury. Insult to Injury enhances weak point damage, so an additional 10% damage to anything weak to water. Or slash, I guess. Ilulu is support, so she has gear that is designed to beef up her health a little bit and to basically keep her alive. So I chose the Dark Spirit Axe, which doesn't really keep anyone alive. Ujima Necklace, which means she does take decreasing damage over time. And the Dragon Bond badge, which gives her 500 health and continual regen. I could give her other badges, including up to 2,000 if I wanted to. But there's so many teams, so many characters. I really can't wait until the UI allows us to actually set gear and swap between them easily. She has a 300 hit point Grasta with HP ore, so 600 there. She has Sound Body, which gives 300 health and 50 mana to all axe users, Felmina being one of them, and Power of Awakening Axe. As long as I'm in an awakened zone, damage is increased, I believe 25% for all axe users. So she is supporting Felmina in that way. Felmina has an extra 300 health and has the damage whenever she's in an awakened zone. Hismena. Her skills are kind of interesting. They're kind of support, but they're kind of damagey as well. And she does have a pretty good damage. So I basically just geared her like damage. So Void Sword for the 100% critical rate and improved type attack. Not sure how important that is. There are other characters that are able to grant 100% critical rating. So if I find that that doesn't do enough, I can always switch to like Dryad Sword, or I guess even the Elpis Sword. But I'll always go ahead and just do that now. The armlet absorbs inflicted damage. Again, I could always give her other things. And I just gave her a power badge. Don't know why I did a 35. Should have some 40s. Unless I used them all. Nope, got one more. Alright, 40-point power badge. And then she has the Power of Pains as well, Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and then just one that's awakened to 35%, which really isn't the best way to do it, but that's what I gave her. For tanking, Dunrith Alter, whom I really have not been impressed by his tanking, so I'm sure I'm not doing something right. He has 5,000 health, which seems low for a tank. Even Soira AS has 7,000, and that's mainly because of the badge. I could give him 7,000 health. He'd have 7163, except that his critical guard requires him to have physical critical rate equal 100%, and the Master Badge makes sure that that happens. Now, buffs can also do it, and that might be the way I do it in the future. I believe when we go to skills, Felmina, one of her skills, as long as I am in the Divine Droplet state, I can make critical rate 100% for the entire party. So by using this, I could give Dunrith the 100% critical rating there, and that would free me up to give him 7,000 health, which might be better. But I don't know, I like to make sure that things happen, so I gave him the Master Badge for now. Might change over time. He has 2 HP Grasta with HP Ore equipped. He has the Dark Spirit, Kakakura, is that how that's pronounced? Which improves his physical resistance, and the Destiny Ring, which improves his luck. He needs as much luck as I can possibly give him, and his base is 253. And for back row characters, Felmina is Migland's Palace, Axe, Outlaw, Hood, Ninja, and Water. So I want to find characters that match those personalities. For Miglance, I just have Annabelle. She has Almighty Power Miglance, which means she is buffing Felmina 25%. And Enhance if max HP Water, as long as Felmina's at max health, she gets an extra 10% damage. And then Resonant Power Shadow. For every Shadow ally, and there is a cap, I can improve damage up to 30%. And it just so happens that all 4 of the front row characters are Shadow. Felmina, Ilulu, Hismena, and Dunrith. So she is making sure that Felmina gets an extra 30% damage with Resonant Power Shadow. Zaviro, he has the Axe ones. He has Power of Rapids Axe, which means water type attacks improved by 30% for all Axe users. And then the Enhance if max HP and low HP axes, which improve damage based on her health levels. And not only is he buffing her, he is also buffing Ilulu's attacks as well, since they're both Axe users. So that's the team I've come up with. I don't know how thrilled I am with it. As I said, this is my first water team. I'm pretty positive I'm probably not using Dunrith correctly. But skills, let's go ahead and cover those. So Felmina's spammable skill in an AF burst, because I always put the spammable one first, is her Rafali Glacie. And it's an extra large water attack for all enemies. Critical rate, improves type attack by 50% for 3 moves. When in Divine Droplet, buff applies to all party members, and I get Barrier Piercing for 3 moves, and that would be, and I stack 10 Ice Bursts. And I also activate the user's strongest learned unique skill. And the Lame series are the strong skills, so it would activate Lame L'Instant, which is a water type attack, and it decreases water resistance. It stacks. It will dispel Divine Droplet state and attack again if I'm in Divine Droplet state, and if I'm fighting something that's weak to water, it will attack a 3rd time. So Raphael Glacie will do 1 natural attack and up to 3 more depending on things. So that is my spammable skill in the AF burst. Lame L'Instant, I just kind of covered. And Torrent is the 3rd one I've chosen. And it reduces power, speed, and intellect if I'm in Divine Droplet state. The duration goes from 3 turns to 6 turns, and I stack 10 Ice Burst. This whole Ice Burst thing, stacking 10 Ice Burst, stacking 10 Ice Burst, it's important. Basically, she needs to build up 50 Ice Bursts, and when she does, her base attack skill, which normally would just say attack, is Shatter Glass. And I'm not sure if it describes it in here. I'm not seeing it offhand. But basically, that's here. Yeah, special attack. Basically, once she's able to stack 50 Ice Bursts on an enemy, if she uses Shatter Glass, we can re-enter the awakened water zone, and we can do that an infinite number of times. So basically, it's important that I'm able to stack all those Ice Bursts as quickly as possible, so that way when one awakened zone runs out, I can Shatter Glass on the next turn and reawaken the water zone. Or if a boss, dispels my zone, then I can reawaken it if I need to as well. So that's kind of the logic behind these 3 choices. Lame L'Instant does not stack, and so I don't want that being the spammable one, because then I don't get to that 50 stack quite as fast. Since Rafali Glacie activates the strongest learned unique skill, I don't really know how important it is for me to have this on my bar, so I very much might change it to something else as well. I could restore health, could give myself, I think one of them was Cyclone Immunity somewhere. Yeah, Averse. Could improve the party's physical resistance. I don't know. So I'm kind of going with these for now. Ilulu. Her spammable one. Water slash attack on everything. Strength increased based on number of stacked haunts in the front line. If there's another zone deployed, the strength increases 3 times more. Purgatorium. Reduces slash resistance. Improves critical damage. And if there's haunt stacked, then, more things happen. And if there's in another zone, the debuff effect improves even more. And then her 3rd choice, Spirita Dialecta, inflicts pain. She's my pain setter. If another zone is deployed, speed will increase and MP regen will occur. Hismina. For her spammable AF bar skill, I chose a water attack that attacks 4 times. And its strength is based on how many buffs are on the user. So if I spend the first 1 or 2 turns buffing up the team, this should be doing pretty much max damage. And then when another zone is deployed, attacks a 2nd time. So that'd be, I guess, up to 8 hits, as long as I'm in a water zone. Or technically any zone. It doesn't necessarily say water, but whatever. For a debuff, I have Zuktigen. I don't know if I pronounced that one right. I don't know if I'm pronouncing most of the stuff right, but it's a water/attack on all enemies, reduces physical resistance, reduces water type, and the debuff increases, I guess, to 75% as long as I'm in a water zone. And then Adele Nadi improves type attack for all party members for 3 moves, increases damage against weak point for 3 turns. The buff count and time is doubled to 6 moves and 6 turns, if I'm reading that right, as long as I'm in a zone. And then Dunrith. For his spammable skill, he doesn't have that many water attacks, but he has this one, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but it does reduce water type resistance and improves water type attacks for all party members. As long as there's 2 water allies, it increases. So, and I have 4. The other 2, I have this thing. 20% of his max health is a shield and reduces MP consumption, and basically the shield is improved and MP consumption reduced to 50%. And then I really want him to sing, but I don't like this double damage thing. So I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing by ignoring this. Singing in Sacred Water Stance would give him an additional 120 luck and reduce damage taken. So I really like that aspect of it. But the whole double damage thing and the fact that he's singing, he can't attack during an AF burst, I don't like. So I have just chosen Finanzo Thymus. It improves his type resistance, not physical. He does gain counterattack, inflicts rage, and as long as I'm in the Awakened Water Stance, I also get Cyclone immunity 3 times. My counterattack restores party's health and mana. So I like inflicting rage, I like the counterattack, I like the improved resistance, which I do get here because singing also activates the strongest learned unique skill, but I really don't like the double damage, and the few times I've taken him out to tank, he dies very easily even when he's singing. So I don't know. As I said, I'm probably doing something wrong. My other tanks all have at least 7,000 health. Most of them are in the 10,000 mark, and I just cannot get him there. Even if I swap this out to a 2,000 health badge, he'd have the low end of 7,000, and then he would not have the guaranteed critical guard, which, you know, is his luck. So, as I said, probably doing something wrong. Y'all can correct me in comments below, but those are skills I've chosen, sidekick I've chosen. Let's see them in action on the test dummy.
Time for your eternal vacation.
So because of their passives, I start off the fight in an Awakened Water Zone for 3 turns. And you can also see all the alt characters have a few passive things as well, like all the enemies have a type resistance decreased thanks to a Lulu and so forth. So, yay, alt characters. Alright, there's that Shatter Glass thing. If an enemy has 50 plus ice bursts, pierce barrier, deploy Awakened Water Stance. So that's how I get back time and time again. So anyway, first turn. I'm in Divine Droplet state. Divine Droplet, from what I can tell, I'm always in it at the start of every turn as long as there's a water zone. If there's no water zone, I am not in Divine Droplet state. So, because I'm in Divine Droplet state, the debuff and turn duration will last for 6 turns, so I'm going to Torrent right away, and that should take care of pretty much the entire 5-turn fight. I'm going to Inflict Pain. I'm going to improve type attack. And I'm going to inflict rage. You can see the number of stacks right there. I'm at 23, 24. Alright, we have pain, we have rage. Oops. I am now going to just start attacking with that Rafali Glacie. I'm going to reduce slash resistance, improve critical damage. Same thing pretty much, reduce physical resistance and water resistance. And at this point, now that I am raging, I can either give my party a shield, an MP consumption for 3 turns, or I can start doing the water type resistance debuff and water type attack buff. So kind of depending on what boss I'm fighting. So let's pretend that I want to go ahead and debuff. I'm at 38 stacks, 39 stacks, 40 stacks. You can see the test dummy is already kind of at half health. So this would be the last turn of my Sacred Water stance, which means if I want it back again, I need to get to 50 stacks. Well, casting this will give me 10 more, so I could just go ahead and cast it. And that way on the next turn, I could Shatter Glass and have the Water Zone back. Going to attack with Anima Amaryllis now. You can see I am pretty buffed. So this one works as well, and I could keep attacking. And you can see all of her additional attacks. Big Baddie has already broken. So this team, on paper, so to speak, seems pretty powerful. So let's take it for a practical test. I'm really curious about all this barrier piercing that this team can do. So on the first turn, I'm going to put down Rage. We're going to go ahead and improve type attacks, inflict pain, and reduce the enemy's power. Now Tetra's aura is in effect, so they all have a little more health now and resistance. We have 24 stacks. We're going to go ahead and do this. I am in Divine Droplet state, so this buff will apply to all party members and give Barrier Pierce for 3 moves. I'm not sure if she gets Barrier Pierce or if everyone gets 3 moves of Barrier Pierce, so we're going to find out. We're going to go ahead and reduce slash resistance, reduce physical resistance, and let's go ahead and give my team a shield. Probably should have attacked and given myself 40 stacks instead of 39, but oh well. That's right, he does counterattack. Doesn't seem to give any stacks though. Well, thanks to his counterattacks, my team is pretty healed. And I will comment, this is my very first time testing this team on any Superboss. So, alright, we need 50 stacks, so let's go ahead and do that. It looks like he did take some damage, whether or not I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if that was just her or everyone. But we will start attacking with everyone since we've buffed everything up now. Alright, she definitely did damage. Looks like the barrier piercing just affects her. I do kind of miss Tetra for the really big heals and the status resistances. Alright, so we are no longer in an awakened water zone, so if we shatter glass, that will give me back water zone. It's preemptive and it barrier pierces, so given how low his health is, I'm guessing it will barrier pierce down to his HP stopper. Are there any buffs I need to redo? Pain is persistent. Speed will increase. You see, that was 3 turns. I guess we'll redo that one. Damage against weak points, that doesn't really matter since it's not weak. This one was 3 turns as well, so let's do that. And we probably need to redo Rage here pretty soon. Yeah, let's do that. Alright, she should go first with Shatter Glass. Yep, got down to the HP stopper. We're getting rid of his new barrier a little bit. Alright, final turn. If I don't kill him, he's going to kill me. Alright, he has 16 stacks of that. If I blow the AF gauge, her Rafali Glacie will give me Barrier Pierce for 3 moves, and then I'm assuming I would be out of Divine Droplet state after the first attack. I don't know if it stays for the entire AF gauge or not, but let's see, I get 1 attack from her, 4 attacks from her, 1 attack, and then multiple-ish attacks from her. So I should be able to burst through the barrier, I think. So we're going to hit AF gauge. We're going to spam all of our spammable skills. I see that he is resistant to water, but that doesn't seem to be hurting Felmino very much. Alright, well, let's do this and see what happens. Looks like her Barrier Pierce went through. The boss looks like he's already defeated. Just gonna keep spamming. And I did not use Lame Instant, whatever that's called, so I could probably swap that out for a different skill. Well, at least it lasts a long time. Alright. Well, Chaos Ogre is defeated. Oh yeah, supposedly Felmina's EX move, this thing, is supposed to immediately stack 50 stacks on the enemy. If I remember the description right.
Yes, witness indeed. For now you sleep, for all eternity.
Well, we can't really see the stacks because he's been defeated, but... Well, the team is functional. The boss didn't do that much damage to my team, so I really didn't get an opportunity to witness Dunrith Altars tanking too much. But still, that was a pretty high-tier super boss, and this team was able to knock it out, so they also ended up with mostly their mana intact, So again, this might be a work in progress team, but this is kind of what I'm going to start with, and if you have any suggestions, feedback, comments, etc., please let me know, because I would love to tweak this further. My fire team looked very, very different when I first started, and it ultimately became this, so I have no doubt that my water and my earth teams will probably change over time. My third brand new team is my Null magic team, and I have been using it probably the most out of the 3, so I'm probably the most familiar with it. Its strengths, Xianghua just utterly destroys things. The weaknesses, there's no tank. Right now, if he has a passive, that means that the person on the farthest right will be taking damage first. And then it kind of goes backwards until everyone has used up their blood contract. So Flammopolis is going to be taking damage before the others. Now my Yunfa has a prayer that gives everyone a shield equal to her health, and any damage that's 1,500 points or less gets reduced to 0. So I do have some defenses. In addition, Flammopolis has skills that reduce the enemy's power and intellect, so she can reduce the incoming damage as well. But anyway, we'll get into all that. So this team, it's still experimental. I kind of like it. It's done some wonderful things, but let's go ahead and get into it. So the team is built around Xianghua. She is the main damage dealer. She has the Elpis Rod, Triad's Ring, and she has the Int plus 50 Speed Halved badge, and that speed reduction is intentional. I want the rest of the team to be able to do all of their buffs and prayers and everything before she goes. So, and that particular badge gives her the most intelligence. She really, really wants intelligence. Her other Grasta are just your typical pains: Agony, Pain, with Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Last Stand Ore, which is, if there's more than one enemy, her damage increases by 30% for each of them. And her main attack, Horizon, attacks all enemies, so she can really belt out damage on things like Yuquaji Clan, for example. So that is Xianghua. Skill-wise, she has Horizon, which is a magic attack. It ignores defenses. It assumes that magic defense is 0, and the strength is based on her int and the average int from the entire team. So as long as she's around intelligent people, then she will be even more deadly. Oh, and her third skill, Link. It allows you to awaken a Magic Fates zone over and over and over again. It's not one of those you can use one time in battle. So if you have Link, you can have an awakened magic zone as often as you want. Which is good, because Mayunfa, one of her skills, Charity Blend, gives me Magic Fate Stance as long as I have 3 or more staff members in the front line, and I do, all 4 are staff. So she can preemptively deploy Magic Zone, and then with Link, it can be immediately awakened, since Xianghua goes last, thanks to her speed. As far as her other skills, she has I'll Do My Best, which is her prayer. As mentioned, it reduces some damage down to 0. It also damage inflicted, so the damage that people are putting out is increased by 50%, and power, intellect, and speed are increased by 50%, and the whole team gains a shield equal to 30% of her max HP. Knowing this, it's important to give her as much health as possible to make that shield as much as possible. So the entire team's party, or the whole party's intellect, goes up by 50%, making them even smarter, and she improves damage. Let's see, gear. Since she is defensive in nature, I gave her the Spinal Staff. She has the Smoke Drift Ring, which improves poison, stun, sleep resistances, things that might break prayer, for example. It's a +9, so it's not quite maxed out, but it's pretty good. And then she has the Steely Resolve badge, which gives her hold ground 1 time as long as she's at max health, and gives her some additional health to boot. And then her Grasta are all HP oriented, so she has 6,100 health, which means her shield is just above 2,000 for everybody. Her final skill, Please. All weapon type damage for all party members increases by 50%. She also stacks Spoiling on the ally to the user's right, which in this case is Xianghua. That improves magic damage based on her MP, and that weapon type damage, that's a 50% for that one character, it's doubled to 100%. So because Xianghua is to the right of my Unfa, if she casts Please, Shanghua's damage is going to go up another 100%. Iffy, Purity Staff for defenses, status resistances, speed, damage over time, decreasing. Subspace Ring gives her some extra health and mana, and she has the HP 2000 badge. She has 2 Grasta that give her health and 2 Ore that give her health, and she has the Power of Awakening Staff, so as long as I'm in an awakened zone, Xianghua will do more damage. Xianghua doesn't do type damage, so we can't do all the Grasta and such that improve type damage. So her skills, before I move on, I have 4 slots for her, which is very, very nice to have because she has a lot of great choices. Icrophilia for spamming in AF gauges. Nocturnal Procession to improve party's power, intellect, and speed. And so she's also buffing Shanghua's intellect. Rosa Liliac, which is a, wherever it is, there it is. Preemptive, gives poison and pain, it's persistent, ignores target resistance, and debuffs the enemy. So there's pretty much nothing not to like about that. So she is my pain setter, and then I have Walpurgisnacht, however you pronounce that, and that is so that since I don't have a tank with this group, it is possible that each of the characters dies over time, so I want to be able to put Blood Contract back on everyone. So once Blood Contract is used up, then I cast that. I'm in Shade Zone for a turn, unless it's an Awakened Magic Zone, in which case I just basically put on Blood Contracts and move about my business. So that's Iffy. And then Flammopolis, AS. She has, for her main attack skill, Water-type magic that hits 5 times and does weapon break. And then I have her Motor Galder, which improves int and speed 50% for all party members, and staff characters get 50%. And if it's within the first 3 turns of battle, it's 100% for everybody. So yay! And also some max magic. And then La Mer Archon, which for the first 3 turns of battle reduces the enemy's power, intellect, and speed for 3 turns. Otherwise, it's just a magic attack. So this can basically reduce the amount of damage that's coming in, making it a little more likely that she will survive. Gear. In order to make her survivable, she has type resistance. And what level was that? A +6 ring, so it could get a little bit better. She has the 1000 HP badge. If I really wanted to, I could give her the 2001 that Iffy has, basically swap them. And then I have 3 Grasta that have 300 health and 3 HP ore, giving her right now a grand total of 6,500. As I said, I could even go up to 7,500 if I really wanted to, but that would make Iffy a little more vulnerable, and if Iffy dies, it's kind of game over for this team. So I'd rather Iffy survive and just recast Blood Contract on people as needed. So that is the main team. They are all... So we have a Light user, Shadow, Shadow, and Light. So the reserve characters... I have Power of Void, which improves non-type attack damage by 40%, so that is improving Shanghua's damage. I have Enhance at low HP staff. It doesn't say anything about type damage, so as if Xianghua is hurt, then this will kick in and do more damage. And if Xianghua is at full health, this one kicks in and she does more damage. I have Sound Body Staff. Xianghua needs 1,087 mana points to max out one of her multipliers, so this gives her 50 magic towards that, as well as a little bit of health for survivability. Sound Body Synth Human for the exact same reason. And then Resonant Power Shadow. For each Shadow ally, party damage increases, and there's 2 Shadow allies in the front row, and I don't know if reserves count, but Helena's a Shadow user as well. For sidekicks, I've chosen Tetra and Gunts, Tetra for heals, and since this party is a little squishy, when his aura kicks in, their hit points go up and their physical magical resistance goes up. So it's kind of a way to try and help survivability. And then guns, all party members' stats increase by 20% when the AF gauge is empty. If I blow the AF gauge on turn number 1, that means all parties' stats goes up, which means Shanghua's intellect will go up by 20%. Not only hers, but everyone else's. I need to average, not her. I need to average 300 intellect for each character to kind of max out Shanghua. That's the general calculations. So 20% of 244, for example, well, 10% would be 24, so 20% would be 48. So that puts her almost at 300 right there. She goes way higher. She'll be over 300, and she'll be close to 300. And then when you factor in all of the buffs that buff int and speed and everything, I pretty much am guaranteeing that everyone has at least 300 intellect. So that's kind of the logic behind all that, and blowing guns usually on the first turn. So this is the Null magic team that I've created, and I've been playing around with it, and I kind of like it. And I'll show you an example of how they are used right now. To showcase the Null team, I'm going to fight the Shadow of the Swordsman. He's a tier 10 Superboss. He has counters, he has HP stoppers, and he has resistances. However, we have Shanghua, who does not care about resistances at all. Right now, he has physical resistance increases, and when he's hit by a physical attack, he counterattacks. But that does swap. He does change to magic resistance, and magic attacks get counterattacked. So anyway, he starts off in a slash zone. We don't want that. So we're going to blow the AF gauge and get Gunce's aura going. We're going to cast Charity Blend, which will deploy Magic Fate Stance. Cast Link to awaken it. Pain Poison. And we're going to decrease his power, intelligence, and speed. So we're going to do all threes. Then we're going to start praying. We're going to Trinity. We're going to Nocturnal Procession. And Hermodal Galder for all the buffs. And then hopefully we'll have enough time for some more stuff, but we'll see. 3, 3, 3, 3. 2, 2, 2, 2. And looks like that was it. So we are praying. We have an awakened magic zone. He is doing 0 damage because of the prayer. It reduces 1500 damage or less down to 0. So now we're going to cast Horizon. She's going to cast Please to buff up the person to her right, Shanghua. At this point, it doesn't really matter what she casts. We'll just do Rosa Liliac again. And it also does not really matter what she casts, so let's just let's just buff the team again. We hit the first HP stopper. He did a lot of damage to the person on the far right, and that's because of Iffy's ability. But she had so much health that she was able to survive, and I didn't have to use up the res. If we check now, his type resistance is up, not that we care because we have Shanghua. So we are going to, let's double check, we have Awaken Zone, we have Prayer. We'll go ahead and do Please again, Horizon again, Nocturnal, and this is, I believe, turn number 3. So we are going to, we'll go ahead and debuff him one more time. For Horizon, knocked him down to his second HP stopper. He's going to attack again. And we are going to recast the Praying Horizon again. Let's go back to Rosa Liliac, and in her case, is he still countering physical? He is countering physical and magical. So we do not want to magic attack him. So we're just going to buff. And it's going to overwrite the 100% buff with the 50% buff. But as you were seeing from the amount of damage he's taking, I don't think that's going to matter. So no damage, no damage, no damage, attack. There you go. You just saw a tier 10 boss just utterly obliterated. The one issue I have with this magic team right now, this Null team, I'm still kind of working on the defenses. I have her health buffed a lot. And I could give her the 2000 HP badge to give her even more health if I really wanted to. But there's no tank, there's no rage, so I'm kind of about that. But as you can see, this team, especially with the Null attacks, can do massive amounts of damage and make some super bosses look really, really easy. So I do like that about this team. You've seen my 3 brand new teams. Feel free to make comments, suggestions, improvements below. I'm sure all 3 will be tweaked as time goes on. For my remaining teams, for the most part, they're still the same as they were in June 2024. So if you want to see sample fights with those teams, I would refer you to that video. I will show you the little tweaks I've made with each of the remaining teams. For the Wind team, Sesta has the Elpis Dagger, Dryad's Ring, and new is the Surging Gales badge. I like to give her the Falcon badge for farming, which is a preemptive attack. This one is 25 power and preemptive, so basically she gains 25 power. In a super boss fight, I don't use this one. I tend to use the Vitality badge, which improves her damage by 20% when she's at max health. Her Grasta are the same: Power of Agony, Pain and Pain, Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Awakened. And she has the Fenrir Proof for an extra 5 power and speed. The second character in the team, it's flexible. Sometimes it can be Melody, sometimes it can be Suzette. Melody is great because she can reawaken the Wind Zone without really having to do anything. And since she is support, I have geared her as such. She has the Enduring Staff. She has the Oriental Ring, which is defensive in nature, and the HP plus Speed Halved badge. I do finally have an HP badge that is exactly 2000 health. So if I want her speed to be normal, I could always equip that. I only have one of those badges though, so I can't wait till they finally set up the UI to, go to, I guess, predetermined setups. I think that's on the way. Her Grasta. She has 2 Grasta that have base 300 health, each with HP ores. And then the third one, I've given her the Enhance if max HP Wind, which is an extra 10% damage for all Wind users at max health. So she could have even more health, but actually, if I don't use her, if I want to use Suzette,
Summon forth the darkness.
Suzette has the Elpis Spear, the Guidance Bracelet, which improves type attack, and the Spurring Badge, which reduces MP consumption and improves power. I could give her a 40 power badge, other things as well. You don't have to copy this exact setup. She has 3 power of poisons because she preemptively poisons. And the third one is not yet awakened. I used to have, I think it was Adversity on it, the one that gives 30% for multiple enemies, but I moved that one away. But she has Bullseye and Rose with Thorns, 2 of the standards, and she has her Dragon Proof for an extra 5 power. Yifa is defensive in nature as well. She has 3 HP ores and 3 Grastas that have a base of 300 health. She has the Kawai Weight, which improves her health. She has the Mujima Bangle, which over time, the damage that she takes decreases. And she has a Spirit Badge because she really, really wants Spirit. And then she has her Juno proof. And then Soira. Soira has the Void Lance because you need something that gives her a 100% critical rating to make her much, much more defensive. Grace Armlet improves her luck. I have 2 +20 stats badges to basically improve her luck, and the 40 extra endurance and spirit do help her defenses. She has more than 50 light points, so the light shadow HP ore is better for her, and she has 165 because I keep pulling her all the time, but yet no Loquitos. She has Power of Rebirth, which gives me regen, both health and mana. And then she has Valve Invincibility, just because it has 300 health. And Self-Healing Lance, again, because it has 300 health and 10 more endurance. And then she has her Aristocrat proof, which gives her 300 health and 5 luck. So that is the main team. Really the only major differences were the Yifa is now holding, actually, was it Yifa or Melody? Yeah, Melody is holding the Enhance if Max HP Wind Grasta. If I switched to Suzette, I'd probably give her that Grasta as well. Reserves. Enhance if Max HP Katana, Enhance at Low HP Katana, and the new one, Power of Awakening Katana. In an Awakened Zone, all Katana users' damage goes up, I believe, by 25%. That used to be the Enhance if Max HP Wind Grasta. That's why I had to move it to someone else. And since Twin Blade Wolf really only functions in an Awakened Zone, and since Melody and Suzette can infinitely awaken the Wind Zone, then this Grasta, which is 25% damage, is better than the 10% I get for the Wind. And then Tomei's the same. Power of Gale, 30% extra damage for wind attacks for Katana users. Almighty Power Avenger, Sesta is an Avenger. And then Sound Body Katana, extra 300 health, 50 mana for Katana users, aka Sesta. Sidekicks, Tetra and Gunts. Tetra with the Soothing Bell, and Gunts, it doesn't matter because it's basically just there. He's just there for when the AF gauge is empty, all party members' stats go up by 20%, which means Sesta's power goes up by 20%, which is nice. So that is my win team, pretty much the same as it has been for a while. It's a pretty stable team. I really like it. If you don't have Yifa, for example, the other character that I really want to include in the team, but I've not yet Stellar Awakened, Malpifia, I bet you anything with her skills and prayers. Super Duper Slice, Inflicting Elemental Break, Future Sight Get 'em, which improves all weapon damage by 50%, power, int, and speed by 50%. That's just... It's not quite Yifa's Faith, but at least Malpifia would affect the entire team, whereas Yifa can only faith one character. So that's really... So those are the substitutions. Suzette and Melody could interchange. Yifa and Malpifia could probably interchange. If you don't need tanking at all, you could probably swap out Soira for one of the aforementioned characters. Sesta, guaranteed. Right now, there's no better wind character than Sesta, in my opinion. So that is my wind team. My fire team is mostly the same as before as well. It focuses on building up Manalka. Manalka has the Elpis Sword, Dryad's Bangle, Power Plus Speed Halved Badge. The reduction in speed is intentional. I want her to go last, so that way the rest of the team can cast their buffs before she attacks. She has the 3 Power of Pains because her main attack puts pain on the enemy. Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Infernal Power of Pain from the Astral Archives. Nemesis Proof for an extra 5 power. Sukiya, Prismatic Pick, and that is mainly for the speed. Subspace Bracelet to give her a little extra health. And she has the HP badge increases by 1250 that I got from the Phantom Crystal Dimension. Go Cats. She has 3 Grasta, each with 300 health and equipped with HP ore for 1800 total. And she has her Valor Chant Grasta as well. So she has 6700 health. Iffy has even more. Iffy is also a support character, so she has the Purity Staff. It's upgraded fully, so she has resistance to statuses, damage decreases over time, and she has speed. Subspace Ring, similar to the Subspace Bracelet, gives her an extra 300 health. If you don't have that, other things like the Mujima Ring I've used in the past as well. And she has the 2000 HP badge. And then she also has 3 Grasta, each with 300 base health, and each upgraded with 300 health HP ores, and her Valor Chant Grasta, which gives her no health at all. And then we have Radius. She has 13,750 unbuffed health, thanks to a plus 10 illusion speed, which gives her 1,000. She has the Elpis Bangle, which gives her health based on her light shadow, and she has 120 light. She has 2 HP plus speed halved badges, so her speed is ridiculously low, but that's okay. Her Prominence Purge attack is preemptive, so the only thing that is slow is her Overthrow ability. And then she has 3 Grasta as well. Victory Celebration, which gives her regens. MP Consumption, so she reduces her consumption of skills. And HP Restore, which I don't care about, except that it gives 300 health and some endurance. And then each one has the Light Shadow HP ore, since she's above 50 light. She has the True Crimson Knight Proof for an extra 900 HP and 15 endurance. Aldo has Power of Inferno Sword, improving all fire attacks for sword users. Sound Body Sword, improving health and mana for all users. And then his new one is Power of Awakening Sword. As long as we are in an awakened fire zone, damage goes up, I believe, to 25%. I used to have him equipped with this. It's 10% versus the 25% that the Power of Awakening does. And it's only effective at max health. And Minalka and having Iffy in the team usually means that Minalka is not at max health when she attacks. Sometimes Tetra will heal her before she attacks, so technically she's at max health, but it's not very common. So that was an easy one to ditch. And then Violet is my other character, because she is a glutton, so she is improving Minalka's damage by 25%. I do have Enhance if max HP sword for those rare occasions where Minalka actually is at max health, but more importantly, she does have the Enhance at low HP sword. As long as Minalka is damaged at 80% or less, Minalka will do 40% more damage. My sidekicks are Tetra and Kurobo. Tetra for the heals and, the defenses and everything. And Kurobo, as long as something takes fire damage, their power and intellect are permanently decreased by 25%. It does affect my team too, so I have to keep that in mind if I'm fighting an enemy that can do fire attacks, but this team definitely is doing fire attacks to the enemy, so the enemy has a guaranteed reduction in power and intellect. So that is my fire team. Really the only new addition is this Power of Awakening sword. My Thunder team is also largely unchanged from June. Miyu, ES, has the Elpis Spear, the Life Changer Bracelet, which improves damage when at max health, and the Berserker Badge, extra 40 power for a reduction of physical resistance. She has 3 Power of Pains, Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Last Stand, Ore, which gives adversity. The more enemies there are, the more damage she does. Valette, Elpis Hammer, Sylph Bracelet, which gives speed, and Winged One's Badge, which improves the combo rate. She has HP plus ores, except for one, and HP Grastas, the one that she does not have an HP ore, she has enhanced combo rate as well. And the logic for that, the Thunder team is designed for basically quick bursts of power. You blow the AF gauge, you get a really high combo rate, you do a lot of damage, and then when the AF gauge is at 0, this team can fill it up very quickly again and go and burst again. So that's kind of the thought process here. You want to do things, or choose skills that have multiple attacks and improve combo rates. Obero, Stellar Awakened, has the Elpis Dagger, the Dryad's Ring for the extra critical strength damage, and the Vitality Badge. Especially on turn 1, if you blow the AF gauge right away, the whole team is already at max health, so the Vitality Badge should be kicking in with turn 1. And hopefully, as long as the team continues to stay healthy, will work in future bursts if needed. He has 3 Power of Pains, the third one with the Awakened Zone, where damage increases based if the zone is awakened or not. It's one of the newer ores. Orlea, the tank, has Miyake's Axe, and that is more for the speed and damage plus when max health. I could always just switch to the Elpis Axe as well if I wanted to. Oriental Ring for improved resistances, and she has the HP 2000 badge when others aren't using it. She also has 3 Grasta that each have 300 health, each buffed with 300 ore, and one of them has the regen. The reserve characters are all designed to beef up Obero's damage. Obero is a mask user and an Eastern user, and it just so happens that Tsukiya is both as well. She has the new Power of Awakening Katana. Since the Thunder Zone is almost always awakened with this team, I felt that this damage was more beneficial than previous Grasta. And then Victor has Power of Offense Thunder, which gives an extra 15% damage to the whole team. Enhance if max HP Thunder, extra 10% there. And Power of Thunder Katana. For all Katana users, Obero, he can improve their damage by 30%. The team is mostly light characters, actually fully light characters. I think Tsukiya's Shadow, but she's not fighting. So the Resonant Power Shadow Grasta that a lot of the teams have does not benefit the Thunder team at all. Sidekicks, you pretty much always want to have Gunts as your main sidekick. His charge skill can reactivate an awakened Thundering stance over and over and over again. And I have Tetra in the background for his aura. And if I really needed the healing, I could always swap them out for a while. So that is my Thunder team, very similar to what I had in June. Finally, my Crystal team. It's pretty much the same as before as well, the main difference being the Power of Awakening Sword Grasta. Thalil Lily has Elpis Sword, Dryad's Bangle, and a plus 40 power badge. She has the Power of Agonies with Bullseye, Rose with Thorns, and Gleaming Power of Pain from the Astral Archives. Of course, she has her base Valor Chant Grasta for an extra 5 power as well. Melissa, her damage is dependent on her speed. She has her Manifest, she has the Stamped Ring for speed and resistance, and a 40 speed badge. She has the Power of Offense Crystal, which improves the team's damage by 15% as long as we're in Crystal stance. Enhance if max HP Crystal. Again, Crystal users, damage improved as long as they're at max health. And then, just for extra health and survivability, she has an MP Restore Grasta with a 300 HP ore attached to it, giving her just over 5,000 health. She is Stellar Awakened, and at level 90, so she can get a little more health just by leveling up and completing her Stellar board. Mr. Ari has the Dark Spirit Bow, which gives her a little bit of type resistance. She has the Mujima Ring, which makes her a little harder to kill as time goes on, and the HP plus MP halved badge. And that's because I don't feel she really needs that much mana. Half the time she's singing anyway, and Alma's counterattacks restore mana anyway, so she's pretty good with about 300 mana. She has Sound Body West and Sound Body Bow, which give 300 health and 50 mana to West users and bow users. So she's beefing up Alma a little bit, and she's beefing up Thalilalily a little bit. She also has Resonant Power Shadow, which improves damage for all Shadow allies, and it maxes out 30%. Well, this entire team, Shadow, 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 and Shadow. So Resonant Power Shadow is improving the damage of all 4 characters. And then we have Alma AS. She has the Lollipopper enhanced to be 2,000 health, and she has a 9 lives attached to it. Not attached physically, that's just part of the enhancement. She has the Elpis Ring, which gives hit points based on her light or shadow points, 82 shadow in this case. And she also has an HP plus speed halved badge. I could, if I wanted to, give her just a flat HP 2000 and improve her speed if I wanted to. A lot of times though, with her speed being so low, as long as Melissa doesn't attack next, then Thalilalily will go. So I can apply a crystal break with Alma, and then on the very next turn, if Thalilalily goes first, she makes use of that crystal break. So the reduction in speed is somewhat intentional. She has the Power of Rebirth, which gives the regen, MP consumption for 300 health, and HP Restore Bow for 300 health, each one with the Light Shadow HP ore, because her shadow is above 50 and more worthwhile than the HP ore that gives 300 flat health. For the reserves, Clergy, West, and Sweet Tooth all describe Thalilalily. Melina, all of her styles, is the same. So, Clergy, West, Sweet Tooth. So all 3 of those personality grasta that Melina is holding, or Melina, however you pronounce it, are buffing up Thalilalily by 25%. And then we have Annabelle. And technically any sword user would work. So she has Power of Crystal Sword, improving Thalilily's damage by 30%. She has Enhance if Max HP Sword, improving damage by 30%. And she has the Power of Awakening Sword, which improves damage as long as we're in an awakened zone. Which several characters, Melissa probably most notably with her stellar skill, they can extend or deploy awakened zones. And you start off with an awakened zone as well, thanks to Alma. So that is the team: Sidekicks, Tetra, and Moke. Moke is pretty much required if you use Thalilalily, so she can re-enter sword-wielding savior state. Tetra for the heals and for the defenses. And that is my crystal team. Really the only major difference. I swapped out Enhance if low HP sword with the Power of Awakening sword. Since Alma's counterattacks are always healing, Thalilalily is more often than not at full health. So I thought that dropping that grasta would be the best. And this one pretty much guarantees a constant 25% extra damage. Whereas the low HP sword, if she was below 80%, would do 40% extra damage. But if she was at full health, it was doing nothing. So that is my crystal team as of August 2024. So I've shown you 7 teams now: Null, Crystal, Thunder, Fire, Wind, Water, and Earth. The Earth and Water teams are still works in progress. I'm still making tweaks, I'm still making changes. I'm not sure if this is what I'm going to end up with even a month from now. But as you can see, they are functional at least, so I have a starting point. And then I'm fairly happy with my new Null team. Still a little iffy, haha, pun, about the survivability of it, but with her reses, it has not been that big of a deal so far. So, but this is a work in progress team too. It might change, next month as well. Who knows? And if I pull other characters, some of my mainstays might change. Who knows? But that's kind of the fun of the game, getting new characters, seeing how they kind of fit into the grand scheme of things. So anyway, I hope this video helps you. Casual Crono, signing out.